Hi, I'm Belinda Carley, the Director of the Institute of Personal Care Science and creator of the Create Cosmetic Formulas program. Now today I wanted to help you with sourcing ingredients for your formulas, because let's face it, you can't make chocolate cake without cocoa, and you can't make great cosmetic products without the right ingredients. So especially when you're starting out, it can be a little hard to know where do you get your cosmetic ingredients from. So let me walk you through how you use our Create Cosmetic Formulas program and source your ingredients to make some amazing cosmetic products. And of course, one of the great things about the Create Cosmetic Formulas program is you don't need to waste money on ingredients and products that won't work, because with this program, every formula works when you get the right ingredients. So let me show you how it's done. Now, first of all, on our homepage, you'll see we have an Ingredient Suppliers tab. What we have on this page is a huge list of different suppliers from around the world. Now, I will tell you straight away that a lot of ingredients aren't necessarily available from all of these different suppliers, but that's okay. That's why we have such a big list for you. I'm going to show you examples today using Formulator Sample Shop in the US and New Directions in Australia. But you'll see there's loads of other choices, so please take the time to get familiar with the ingredient suppliers in your region. And don't be afraid to purchase ingredients from suppliers that are maybe in a country near you. Because remember, with the Create Cosmetic Formulas program, every formula is going to work, so you're not going to be wasting money on ingredients and shipping, because once it arrives, you'll be able to put it together easily. So first of all, I want to show you around the program and how it names the ingredients so that you can find them easily with any of the suppliers we've listed on that page. I'm going to pick just a standard oil in water face cream as my example. Now in the program, you'll see the items in red are the ingredients we really need. You must choose these for your formula for it to come together and work. But you don't need to sit there and think, well, I don't know what a humectant is, because that's okay. The program is going to guide you. So you can see that this number here is in red, which means we must have one of these ingredients in the formula. So just click on this green button here and you'll see a list of choices appear. Now, as I've mentioned, not every supplier is going to have every one of these ingredients, but we've got loads of choices in this program. So a supplier near you is definitely going to have at least one of these choices for you. But sometimes they call it by different names. So what we have in the program, we've listed all ingredients using their Inky names. That's the name that would normally appear on an ingredient list. And we've also used what suppliers call trade names. So this is the other name that the ingredient might be known by in the industry. Now, the reason I've listed both choices is because different suppliers around the world will choose one or the other, or maybe their own choice of trade name to name the ingredients they supply. But they will always give you the Inky name. So I've tried to make it really easy for you to figure out what your supplier is listing by giving you a couple of different names to choose from. Let's look at an example. Let's say I start with Formulator Sample Shop and let's look for propane diol. Just about everyone's going to have glycerin, so let's start with a slightly harder example. Once I'm on their home page, I will type in the ingredient and let the search bar do the work for me. We can see that the propane diol is available from this store. Let's have a look at New Directions. And again, we can see they also provide propane diol. So remember this big country list? Make sure you visit the suppliers that are near to you, and also the suppliers pages that are in a country near you as well, because you'll be able to get the ingredients in this program from these suppliers, just not necessarily all ingredients from any one supplier in particular. The better you get to know the suppliers in your region or near you, the better and quicker it will be for you to be able to source the ingredients that you need. Let's look at some more examples. So now I know I can get propane diol. Let me select that ingredient and I have a range. The program will tell me how much I need to use in that formula. Now, if you don't know anything else about the formula, you could just pick in the middle. Now let's take a look at some gum examples. Again, we definitely need a gum in the formula because the number is in red. So click on select one. And again, you'll see I've got a big list of choices. So again, you don't need to know exactly which gum you want to use. I've also put some descriptions below the Inky or trade names for you so that it can help you pick and choose which ingredients you might want in your formula for different performance or skin feel aspects. So for example, you might want to avoid synthetic ingredients. Every single ingredient we have in this program tells you how natural or not it is. So it's up to you if you want to choose only naturally derived ingredients, or if you don't mind using a bit of a synthetic ingredient for its specific function in the formula. In this case, I've told you that carbomer is synthetic, but it's great to create crystal clear gels. So let's pick one from the top, acacia and xanthan gum. Let's see if these two suppliers I'm showing you as an example provide this ingredient. We'll start with Formulator Sample Shop, and I'm just going to type in the first word to help expand my search, and that was acacia. I can see here straight away they have a material called Solar Gum AX. If you look at the program, I've given you the trade name because sometimes a supplier will use the trade name instead of the Inky name. It's a way of you being able to recognize if it's the same ingredient I'm talking about, even if the supplier is using a slightly different name. Another way you can check is with your supplier, and again, all of the different supplier websites work in a similar way. If you click on the material, you'll often be able to get more information about that ingredient, including the full Inky name. So you can cross-check that Inky name matches what I've got in the program, and you'll know it's the same material we're talking about. So now that we know we can get this material, let's select it. And again, the program will give you a range. If you know nothing else about the ingredient and you're very new to formulating, start in the middle. It will work for you every time. Now, it tells me I need an anionic emulsifier, and I know this because the ingredient input is listed in red. So again, I'm going to select. Again, you don't need to know what anionic emulsifier means because there's loads of choices here for you. So again, we'll search the websites and see what we can find. Let's take a look at new directions this time, and I'm just going to start by typing in glycerol stearate. And you can see there's a few choices here. There's quite a few choices that I can pick from. How do I know if it's the right material? Well, let's look at the full name, and we can also click on the information button. Again, different suppliers' websites will work in a similar way for you. And we can see that the Inky name is glycerol stearate citrate. We can cross-check against our program. That is the same as the first material listed. If you wanted to use another material, you'd conduct searches in a similar way. And remember, the better you get to know the suppliers in your region or in nearby countries, the more choice you're going to have. Now that I know I can get glycerol stearate citrate, I'm going to select that. And again, the program will help guide me in how much I need. So too with the non-ionic emulsifier. Again, you don't need to know what non-ionic emulsifier means because you've got a huge list to choose from. Look at all your choices. And again, I tell you if they're naturally derived or if there is a synthetic portion present, so you can pick and choose how natural or not you want your product to be. Remember too, I've also given you the Inky names and the trade names that suppliers might use so you can recognize the ingredient easily. Let's try Formulator Sample Shop. Now you can see there's a big choice here, but look at this name here. We'll check the program, and there's the trade name. This is why I give you both Inky names and trade names, because different suppliers will call their materials by different names, and I want you to know whether you're picking the right material or not. So now I know I can get this from Formulator Sample Shop. I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to add that into my formula. And again, remember, if you know nothing else about the ingredient, start at the middle of what the program tells you. Now I can do this with all of my ingredient choices. Let's take a look at the preservative. So again, I know I need a preservative because the number is in red. I'm going to select one, and again, we've got a really big list of preservatives. Now, sometimes you might want to choose or specifically avoid certain Inky names in your preservatives. So again, I've given you all of the Inky names so that you can make those choices. I also let you know if the preservative has special conditions. So in this example, I tell you it's not suited to product packed in jars. And I've done this to help you make the right preservative selection for your packaging and formula type. Remember, when you use this program, every formula works. So I want to help make sure you're making the right choices for the formula and the packaging that you want to use. So let's say we want to look for this material. We'll start with Formulator Sample Shop. And then have a look at the search results. I'm not seeing any names here that relate to that ingredient, but that's okay because there was loads of other preservative choices. Let's instead look for this material here. So I'm going to start by typing in the first word only, and that helps make sure I get a really broad search. And again, I can have a look, and again, I'm not seeing any results here that match with what I've listed. And sometimes this will happen, but that's okay because the Create Cosmetic Formulas program has loads of choices. So you're bound to find an ingredient from a supplier near you that's going to work in your formula. Where the Inky name is too long to fit in the search bar, I give you the full Inky name underneath, like this example here. I want to give you another example showing you how different suppliers might call the same product by different names. I'm going to use the New Directions website and look for phenoxyethanol. Now we can see here phenoxyethanol is listed on its own, but in the program it is not listed on its own. It's always listed with something else, like this example here and this example here. So this is a good time to show you that the Inky names the supplier gives you must match what's in my program to help make sure you're picking the right ingredient to make sure your formula is going to work every single time. So let's go back to New Directions and have a bit more of a look. We can see down here there is another preservative by a trade name, so they've called it something else entirely. Let's look for more information, and we can see here the ingredients are phenoxyethanol and ethyl hexylglycerin. We go back to the program, we have a match. So now I know I can get this material. I'm going to select it. And again, if you know nothing else about the ingredient, use the midpoint of the range listed. Now I'm just going to select some lipids. These are the oils, and again, we've got a huge choice in this program. So just make sure you're looking for ingredients that you can source in your region from your preferred suppliers. I also let you know how natural or synthetic the different ingredients are, and what some of the good points about those materials, and what types of products, skin feel, or even hair products they're particularly suited to. In this case, I'm just going to pick a couple at random. And add them to my formula. Now the program's really great. It tells me I need an antioxidant. Otherwise I might have a shelf life or stability issue. So I'm just going to pick my antioxidant. Again, I can check what I can get from my suppliers. In this case, I'm picking ones that I know suppliers will have in general. And then I just click Generate Method, and here is my full formula. The water is calculated out automatically, and here is my method. Then it's time to get into the lab and put the formula together. Now, if you're not sure how to read a formula, please watch my video on how to write a cosmetic formula, which explains why we write it using percentage weight input and how you can use that to make sure your samples work out every time as well. So there you go. That's how to source the cosmetic ingredients you need to make your formulas. And using the Create Cosmetic Formulas program helps make sure you don't waste money on raw materials because every formula works. Make sure you get to know the ingredients supplied by the suppliers in your region, and don't be afraid to look at suppliers from nearby countries as well for the best possible choices. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up. Please leave any questions or comments below, and make sure you subscribe to createcosmeticformulas.com so you can get making and sourcing your cosmetic ingredients as easily as I've shown you in this video. Happy formulating!